And how are you? I'm doing better. I didn't expect that my hand surgery was going to be quite so invasive. Um, you know, it all had started when I had the vid 2 years ago. So I had gotten really super sick, and because I already have significant health issues, and no, I don't get SSI. Long story, I'll tell you guys all about that someday. But anywho, I got the vid really super bad. And so I had the vid and why can't I think of it? This is why, because it freaking brain damaged me. I'm not kidding you. I had meningitis with it. So I had the vid induced meningitis, and I'm not even kidding, I was in and out of life. I mean, it was so bad. And it was during the time when all beds in the three-state area in the hospitals were filled. And I was coughing up blood, everything, and had full blown meningitis. And my, so I had really high readings in something that shows like if you have a blood clot. So I was coughing up blood, which means there could be a blood clot in your lungs. And they did these tests called a D dimer and stuff, which are indicative of a blood clot. They were all very positive, all very high. My clotting factor was exorbitant. It was terrible. And so they basically had to say, we don't have any beds. You probably have a blood clot somewhere. We don't have a bed for you. So the second that you feel more sick, you have to call 911 and come back and come back and come back. So I did that a couple of times, and the hospitals were just I mean, it was just terrible. I couldn't stay inside. I just like waited out on a bench and just like was laying down on my belly on the bench and just, waiting for my IV, and it was terrible. So then we had to take everything we had in savings and pay for me to have a private IV team come to the house because it was so bad. But anyway, while this was happening, my fevers would hit 106. My pinky started to twist and grow and grew this thing in its top joint. And it was like the top joint of my pinky was like trying to escape it. And it was really bizarre. My husband had attempted to rollerblade. Unfortunately, the week prior, he fell and hurt his elbow. And so he was growing an extra elbow. So it's almost like if we had anything that was already injured. So I don't know if I had banged my finger in something, whatever. Because, I'm klutzy. I fall all the time. My neuropathy, what? Anyway. So the question is, did I have something, already hurt in that finger? We don't know. But so the top joint grew and grew and grew. And then, so for the past 2 years, it's just grown and started to just distort my finger in that joint. And then I would get frustrated with it. And then I would perform at home surgery and drain it myself. And because that's the kind of shit I do. So anyway, my doctor had me go to a hand surgeon, and that's how we had to get it cut out. And it was all twisted in the joint, and there was all this arthritis in that top joint. So anyway, I got the Michael Jackson nap, propofol. It knocked me on my freaking ass for like 5 days. Like 5 days. I mean, one dose of propofol. And so my hand surgery was like Friday. And I was literally out of it until like Wednesday. I think I fully woke up yesterday. I don't know. But anyway, I have to keep it in the splint to get the joint to straighten out for 2 weeks. And I have stitches all in the joint and everything. So it's been kind of a pain in the pinky. I want to know, did you guys get any weird body issues from the vid? Did it leave you with a wonky joint, an extra finger, an extra elbow, brain damage? Like I have long COVID syndrome, so I literally it's not a joke. I'm like Frosty the Snowman. I come out of the freaking ice box and I'm like happy birthday every day. because every day is a new day to me because I don't have memory. And like, I guess the other day, this is, it's a problem with a shorter term memory because like I'm okay with the longer term, but it's the short term memory. So this is why I can actually talk about this one and know it. I was straightening up the kitchen before I started cooking, and apparently I asked my son 3 times if the lemon cake that I had made was too dry, if it should stay for another day or go. And so on the 3rd time, I guess I asked, they all just started laughing. And my husband and kids, everybody who was here, and they're like, "You've literally just asked that 3 times in 20 minutes." And I'm like, "Well, I don't remember the answer. I don't remember asking, so what's the answer?" But that's what it is. It's like, I think that's why they really didn't want this to get out, because I think there are really long-term issues from it that we don't know. So anyway, that's my story. I'm sticking to it. And I am quite a busy person, kind of a lady of leisure and lay around and cuddle my cats and everything. So I can't keep up with every shit show on YouTube that is right now MS. But the problem, it seems, if I can identify the basic problem here, it seems to be that she has told so many lies that other people who are busy too don't understand, and they see certain clips and they hear certain lies and they hear certain things at different times. And so it appears to me that certain people believe that this certain person, MS, actually suffered a stroke. And I want to tell you, she did not have a motherfucking stroke, okay? She didn't have one. She has not had a stroke, okay? She's not had a stroke. I don't care what note she put up that said she's fully capable to go back to work that somebody saw, because remember, she had no fucking job. Remember the thing on the Google that she put out there that she's the most bullied person on the YouTube, and that all of the calls came into her employer and got her fired? There was no job to get her fired for. No calls came into any employer because there was no fucking job. So I know it's confusing, and nobody has time to watch all of her lies. But the time has come to knock it off and don't believe anything she's saying. Like Dr. Phil says, if her mouth is moving, she's lying. Okay? So I'm going to touch back on that in a moment. I'm going to touch on some things just to get everybody caught up here and move forth. Now I know that she's came up with this note and that note and whatever. And you know what? When the entity itself contacted me, which I put on my community thing, it tried to tell me that it had a stroke because even Trey said so. And I had to remind the entity, number 1, to F off if it's really her. And number 2, Trey would be repeating what she had said as the lie, because that's back before he knew that she was a big liar, because she was leeching on to him, acting like a big fucking stroke victim so that she could get $600 out of this nice widower man, just because his wife, who passed away, had the misfortune of being friends with that asshole Michelle, okay? That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. So she tries to get other people to co-sign her lies based on her lies to them, okay? So I am not doxing her. I don't want people to be confused on what's doxing. When she comes out with a lie and divulges her own medical history and has a live camera going while a doctor is in there talking about her medical diagnoses and based on the drugs that then she says she is prescribed, etc., it is the deduction of facts. It is what is not said that is the truth. It is looking at this and looking at that to prove the truth from her lies. Remember a couple of weeks ago when she tried to get Krista exposed, suckered in, because she wanted to have somebody show her side of the story. But this last year and a half has been her side of the story, and it's taken the whole frickin' continent here to get online and stand up and say she's lying. And her little attempt to go to real world and go to the Facebook and try and talk about the mean people on YouTube that bullied her, well, it's backfired. And now it's gotten some really good results in that how she thought she had Trey lined up for a good $600 a month, that she had this other one lined up for this. Who the hell does she think she is? She has full SSDI, full food stamps, Medicare, everything, and has not had bills for what? Who is she? Okay, this woman has left behind a mess of destruction, and I need to touch on that as well. But before I freaking stroke out here, I need to get moving to some facts here. Okay, so I'll start going on the facts. Okay. I see what you can't is the real MVP here. I See What You Can't has chronicled everything so beautifully, and to the effect that ETN could take the bish to trial and have I See What You Can't come in as a witness and use her incredible documentation and shorts to show the destruction that Michelle has done on the internet to that man's reputation. Leave the poor man alone. Do you know how hard it's going to be for ETN to ever trust again? He waited a lifetime to try his hand at marriage, it sounds like. And, he looked like he could find, he found somebody who, was ready to have her second, third, 18th, 26th chance at starting over and would be a good, fun, entity to do things with. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what he saw in her, but I think that, we've all seen that she can put on an act. And so maybe she put on this act. And if he was, like Mayhem and Snow White and I talked about, maybe if it was long distance at first, she was really able to pull the wool over his eyes for a while. I don't know. I mean, you don't know somebody till you freaking live with them. Okay, that's just the truth of it. I didn't live with my second husband until after we were married, and good God, if we would have lived together, we wouldn't be married, but we're actually married for 23 years. My first marriage was 9 years. We were together for 13 and remarried for 23, but I mean, honestly, the first month of living with a man who's lived among men on a ship in the ocean, when you marry a sailor and you try to domesticate it, oh Lord, it's not good. It's not easy. But 23 years and always having separate bathrooms. That's all I'm going to say. All I'm going to say. He has his own freaking bathroom. He needs to clean it. And I have my own and no one touches it. I'm really a freak about water buildup. Any type of water, hard water stains, any type of orange stains from hard water, they freak me out. Okay? So I live in Minnesota where the water is so freaking hard. So we have a system in our house that was supposed to, it's not quite zero res, but it's the one closest to that, where it's supposed to make every single faucet in the house the equivalent of bottled water. It's supposed to be extra filtered, blah, blah, blah. And then still we have to salt the water. And still the damn water, if you leave it on the counter, you come back 24 hours later, there's an orange spot. I can't deal with that. I have to go around with vinegar, constantly drying the surfaces, keeping every surface dried. And so that's why we can't have the same bathroom, because he doesn't have a problem with water stains, and I do, and I get rather violent when somebody does not care about water stains like I do. It's a thing. It's me. I'm a little bit of a weirdo. Now, with that being said, this clip is freaking hilarious. So, thanks in advance. And I'm begging for forgiveness for once again using a clip from you. I see what you can't without asking permission first. But this one's so good. I really like it. So let's go over here. And I think there was just a commercial, so I think we're okay to start in here. Let's check this out. We'll put it on full screen. And we're going to go for here. That was all the fair use stuff, because I see what you can't does a
Hey,
great job.
everyone. So, I had to step away from screen recording for a few minutes to answer a call. When I returned, I saw this. LOL.
So it's like YouTube must just be like having to put their own staff on it, because like I say, when my channel got struck down by a tragedy pimps, I was in shock. I cried and cried. I was at 500 subs. I was very proud of myself and the work that I had done to that point, and had never gotten in any trouble or anything. I didn't know that channels could just be struck down. And so, I was bawling my eyes out, did the right thing, challenged it. But I mean, it told me to F off. I mean, it was like, do not pass go. You are done. YouTube wants nothing to do with you. When you get your channel shut down, it's scary. And that's why even people who are on top of the world with their YouTube things, it is the most unpredictable thing, because it can be taken from you at any time for any moment. So you should always have a backup plan. This is a very risky thing. Don't put all your eggs in the basket. I have most of my stuff all over on Patreon with the same name too. So if anything ever does happen to my channel, I'm on Patreon. And I know I don't want to go that way, because I believe that, there is, this is supposed to be a free forum. It's not supposed to be, pay-per-view. I don't have a lot of money. I can't give money. I have enjoyed YouTube and its entertainment purpose, and I think that the money, should be coming from what it is, where it's supposed to, with the AdSense and whatnot. And if somebody feels like, so moved that they feel like somebody's done a good job, or they really like this or whatever, or they have a little extra money in their thing and they give them a cash app or whatever, great. But the 3 days my channel was down, I did not go to a backup channel. It said not to. It said, do not go make another channel. Do not do this, whatever. And, I had people, calling me who know me, and they're saying, just start a new channel. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to do anything to disrespect them. Well, I'm, at their mercy right now. I need to show that much respect. And boom, 72 hours, like, it was just, oh, sorry for the inconvenience. It was a false strike against you, whatever. And I don't have, any strikes. No, I didn't do anything wrong. It was just tragedy pimps trying to get me shut down. And so for me, knowing how that hurt and how scared I was, it's shocking to me that Michelle just, I'll just start another channel. Oopsie, right. Oh, what's the button? How in the hell can she just not even be scared or even shook or upset or anything? She's just like, nope, I'm the most famous YouTuber, and Molly did a meet and greet, so I've got to do a meet and greet. I'm going to do a meet and greet just like Molly, but my subs are going to pay because Molly's subs pay. I mean, what the? She just keeps going. I don't think YouTube has ever even, in all of their rulemaking, whole legal department, I don't think they've ever seen anything like her. Like most of us haven't. I don't think that people like her are generally free to be among people. I think that they have lost the battle to their addiction. Every time she wakes up and is on a channel, I'm surprised, because I don't see how she's doing what she's doing and still living, but that's why you just don't see people acting like her to this age. Their bodies can't do it, and I don't know. So anyway, YouTube is getting fast at shutting them down. And if her Wenches with Blue Wrenches go and create a channel for her, they're compromising their ISP because they are allowing channel circumvention on their channel, giving her a channel. Yes, that is true. It is against terms of service. They can't do it. So this was just funny that her channels are getting shut down this fast, because when she had this channel, she was already, it was the night when I was cooking the chicken enchiladas and she was trying to mess with me. And like I say, I engaged it a little and I put it on my community page so you guys can laugh and see what I wrote. But I wasn't going to engage further. It came to me. So let's watch here.
So, of course, I went to Chatter's Voice to see.
Okay. What's wrong with, why is somebody giving her a Cash App? This is an addict in active addiction. You do not give an addict in active addiction money. Our government gives her the money that she needs to put a roof over her house and feed herself and access health care. Nobody needs to worry about anything else. Anybody giving her money is giving her addictions. They are digging one scoop of dirt at a time over the 6 feet under she's going to be. The people enabling her are endangering her life. So I was looking at this chat here, and Steenie Bean, who has a wrench now, says, I cannot imagine being consumed with hate and someone this much. It's frightening. All these people think about day in and day out is Michelle. No, I'm a pretty busy person. Steenie is said some shit all over my page for the last how many months. And, I respected all viewpoints and stuff, but she is vicious and has been very much against anybody basically indulging Michelle. So I don't know what she's doing over here. And I guess some stuff happened. Somebody can fill me in on what happened with private messages and stuff. But basically, Steenie was the one who's over there 24/7. My content is diversified. My Michelle content is 1/10 of what I do. The day that Michelle finally fucks off, it will be a good day for me. And I will be so glad to not have to make anything about her again. The only reason I do is to continue to hope that I stop one idiot from giving her a Cash App. It's my wish that if I stop one idiot each video, then I have done my job. Okay? Michelle thinks that she's a victim of hate, and these people feeding into her victim mentality of being the victim. It's in her chat 90% of the time. So Michelle started calling her out a few weeks ago. Was like, hey, Steenie, you've been here, and you haven't paid up. Time for you to pay up. So then Steenie said something, about my channel or whatever on my thing. And I said, hey, Steenie, have you paid up to Michelle yet? She's asking for you to pay up since you're there. You got to pay to play with Michelle. You got to pay to watch that shit show. So she didn't answer me. And then I see that, she's all wrenched up. Wenches with Blue Wrenches. Say that 5 times fast. Wenches with blue wrenches, wenches with blue wrenches. So Steenie is now here helping Michelle get money. All that Michelle wants mods for is so they can sit there and pimp that Cash App. So now Steenie is raising money for an addict in active addiction while she's been sitting there judging everybody else's behavior. Oh, she's even got her PayPal out there. Just in case anyone want to know, so this mod here is pimping Michelle's PayPal, Venmo, Cash App. I mean, anyway, she accepts currency in every gash she has. And she does have a gash. So anyway, Remy Girl says, I'm so over all the hate. Michelle needs to stop letting them trigger her and reacting to them and going on the attack, and maybe they will move on and leave her alone. You already apologized. I mean, okay, she's breaking the terms of service. YouTube is a community of self-policing. YouTube expects those of us in a community to keep our side of our streets clean. When we see a train wreck coming down, it is for us to report. And because people are enabling her, then she is able to do this. Otherwise, this train wreck should already be off of our streets because we've already done our job in community policing. And that each time that I make content and others make content, we are following the terms of service. We have a code of conduct that we have to follow. And it's ridiculous that she continues to do this and has people dumb enough to co-sign it, which only says that they are equal to or as bad as her in the way that they have led their life and the devastation that they've left behind and the way that they treat people and the way that they see everything as currency and the way that they are emotional hoovers and they take advantage of people and don't even care. It's pretty sad.
See if she got the ending, and sure enough she did. Let's watch.
Jake, get down. Get down, Jake.
Okay, so why is it okay for her to continue to abuse Jake? And all of you co-sign on this. You co-sign for her getting money as she's an addict in active addiction. I heard that last week that she mooched a $30 lunch. The only lunch I know of that's $30 is a liquid lunch. And you all know she goes down to the taco shop and the taco truck and gets some margaritas from the taco truck and then drives home. So you people here co-signed to her driving drunk, endangering the lives of many innocent people. You endanger her life by making sure that she has money for her addictions. And you sit here and you watch and listen and co-sign to her abusing an animal. I hate the way that she talks to Jake. The talking alone is cruel. Watch my videos. Watch the way that my animals respond to the way that I talk. Like the one where I was showing how Boo Boo can magically make a Shiba stick disappear in one bite. My friend Indigo commented on there how she could see that, he was so excited because he got a second stick because he knows he only gets one a night. It's our thing because, it's our thing. He's got to have a strict diet to keep his manly figure. And so he was just so happy because, I was making the video and I let him, because he doesn't accept cash. So for his modeling fees, an extra Shiba stick. But animals know the way that they are talked to. They respond to the way that voices intonate and fluctuate. If you are a person who does not think that animals respond to being verbally abused, I don't know what kind of a person you are because you would have no empathy, no heart, no brain. If you're a person who mistreats an animal, you're mistreating the most innocent, helpless of all kinds. And so people who are sitting here and defending her, well, she is once again abusing Jake. We've watched her kick, hit, yell, push, and degrade that animal. This is the same woman who put down Etienne's dog because he left her and wouldn't come back because the fake strokes didn't work anymore. Because her fake every illness that she faked every time, her shooting at him and everything. Would all of you be sitting here, oh, she's the victim? If a man did that, if this was a man, it kind of looks like a man, basic, yeah, it's a man, kind of looks like a Poindexter man. If this was Poindexter here, the man, sitting alone on the couch that he's crusted up, pissed in, cigarette butts, little packages of white powder. And that was a man sitting there that had put his wife's dog down because she left him and wouldn't come back, and then was sitting there abusing the other dog while she inappropriately molests the other one. Would you all think that this is a victim? Let's take the gender off. Domestic violence happens across the board. It is an equal offender. It's time to realize there are female offenders of domestic violence. So, where have we ever seen a man do the things that she's done and have people co-sign for it? Pretty disgusting. Pretty disgusting here, judgmental people.
Get out.
You get down. You get down. You get down off that couch. You go get a bucket of Fabuloso and you start scrubbing. Oh my God. Oh my God. I'm here. I am an animal lover and everything, but I'm going to tell you, I had the biggest freaking pile of ants the other day I had ever seen in my life. I don't know how many ants were there, but I mean, like handful thick of freaking ants, and they were right outside my garage. They were gonna go downstairs. I'm like, I got those little freaking jumping spiders coming in. I'm not gonna deal with a bunch of ants too. I mean, oh my God. So I went to the garage, and there was no ortho ant killer, and so I did what I had to do, and I took my Fabuloso and I poured it on the ants, and it unalived them where they stood. So this big thickening, big thick pile of ants is now out there, and they're all unalive in the pile. Fabuloso, which you can get at the Dollar Tree. Fabuloso is wonderful. I like to pour a little Fabuloso in the garbages, because it's hot. And so garbage day, the garbages stink. And so I like to put a little Fabuloso in them so that, I always keep it in the garage handy. But I'm telling you, it works as an ant killer. Outside, you don't want to put it in, anyway. It worked. Anyway. Oh, we got Dum Dum here, who just yelled at Jake. Like I say, why is that okay? Why are you guys paying this thing? Why are you paying her, making sure she gets money to abuse an animal, sitting there with, and you know what, she's not letting the camera see that all of the bandage, all of the garbages and everything. She's sitting there just disgusting, just absolutely disgusting, not cleaning. She has nothing else that she needs to do other than keep a clean house. She's had nothing else that she's had to do. And she did that and just sat there and sabotaged that, and was a slob, letting all of these people who sit there and enable her, give her money to sit there and go out to eat. But she's begging for money for food, which she goes and, she sells her freaking food stamps and everything else. But you know what? Oh, let's make sure that Michelle has enough meat to eat, and she can't cook. Anyway, it's disgusting that you people see her as a victim and want to make sure that she's getting money. That's what you guys are doing. You guys are pimping for her. How nice. Pimping for the pimp. And when she was bragging about running girls, okay, let's put this here. A man. Let's put this as a man pimp who's talking about how he human trafficked girls. You think that they think that a pimp should get money? Because that's what she did. When she's talking about running girls, when she's bragging about how she used to run girls, she's saying that she prostituted girls. She human trafficked girls. She took a portion of money from them selling themselves. And she was still on SSI doing that. Our taxpayers are paying this pimp. And so this is a pimp, a domestic abuser, an animal abuser, an addict in active addiction who's lost custody of all of her children. And you all want to make sure she gets money. The fuck is wrong with all of you? Don't be coming in and judging me. What's wrong with all of you? What's wrong with all of you? Oh, there you go. I thought that she got that Chantix to stop smoking. You know what? A person who really needs money doesn't have money for cigarettes. I have never seen people give money to somebody who has money for cigarettes. What the fuck is wrong with you people?
Thank you, Remy.
Is this entertaining? Is this worth money to y'all?
No.
What is it? Why would people defend this behavior? What's wrong with this? Why? Is that some kind of extraordinary talent in the dancing? Those eyebrows are yeeting up again. Her hair is falling out from the abuse that she does to her body. And because I've talked about with Snow White about her weird mouth things that she does when she's lying, she fights so hard to keep her mouth closed now that she looks like the frickin' Joker right there. Look at that Joker smile. Now she's really got the Duper's Delight. Classic Duper's Delight. Little Diane Downs action right there, little Ted Bundy. You bet. Sitting there animal abusing, scamming, sitting on a dirty, filthy, pissy, boogery couch. Getting money for drugs.
Thank you, Remy. Guys, I'm leaving tomorrow. Every dollar.
Yep. Just revel in it. Yes. It's so beautiful. Thank you, YouTube, for finally helping us clean up these YouTube streets. I really appreciate it. Then let's see here how this go. Yep, just beautiful. Ha ha ha. Okay, hold on. You know what? We're going to go back here. Because she wanted to sit there and judge other people's teeth. Okay? She wanted to talk about how disgusting people are and how she's got such beautiful teeth and blah, 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 blah. I don't see those. I mean, I see one missing, which is fine. I have one missing as well. I'm okay. For those of you who went the implant route, can you tell me how you feel about the implant route? And also, I'm extremely allergic to nickel of any kind. So I've had problems with, I've had stents and things in my body, blah, 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 that have caused serious issues because of the metal. So my dentist says that the implant for the tooth I need to have put in there is titanium. So it shouldn't. But I want to know if anybody's had any bad results from the implant. I'm just a little bit scared of getting my implant. I just didn't have the money to get another crown. I had a crown one over here. Like I was explaining to you guys, Suboxone wrecks your freaking teeth. I had no cavities ever until I started taking Suboxone. And I think it's a total of $10,000 out of pocket in the last 2 years. And then 7,000 4 years ago. Like almost $20,000 out of pocket. That's our side, out of pocket for my teeth for the damage that Suboxone has done. And I've heard that there is a class action lawsuit for Suboxone and teeth damage. If somebody could tell me if that's still a real lawsuit, because I can't find anything showing that that's a real lawsuit. I would really appreciate if anybody has a lawyer that's doing it to let me know, because I have all the receipts. So I'm missing one lower tooth, and you can't really see it when I talk, I guess, because that's what I was worried about. But anyway, I don't think it's very nice to sit there and, when you look like this, to sit there and make fun of the way that other people look. This woman has degraded so many women and told them how ugly they are and blah, 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 blah. And, you know what? So went to a concert tonight, as you guys will see me upload. So, okay, so here's the story. Do you guys remember that guy, Billy Vallow from the band Him from the 90s? He made the heart pentacle. I saw a video from him just across my YouTube last year. So then when he was going to be down at a local venue over here from I think he's from Denmark or Finland too. And so he was going to be here. So I was like, okay, that's kind of cool. I'll go see him. And it was actually really cool. And I uploaded those videos. And so then the girls who opened for him were from Iceland, and they're super, super cool. And I put up some of their videos. And so then on that same vernacular, because I got the emails, because it was on the email list for that, this singer called Tarja came, and she's a rock goddess from Finland. And the guys that opened for her, their band is called Chaoism, so it's like Chaos and Museum. They're really freaking good, so good. It was a really good concert, but there was this drop dead gorgeous girl. Jessica Rabbit had nothing on this girl. She's about my height, 5 foot tall, poured into these glass the glossy pants, right? Just poured it. I don't know how she poured herself into them, but I mean the waist, the perfect bubble butt, perfect, probably double D's, gorgeous red hair, makeup perfect. This girl had it going on, and I assume she must have been with the bands, because they for the meet and greet afterwards, she was kind of near them. And it was funny because I was watching every single man look at that girl. And she was talking to this guy, and I assumed that he was like a roadie or something because, he kind of looked like a roadie. But then they start, kissing and stuff, and I'm like, oh, damn. And he's like, he's just a guy like 5'2", and, nothing to him. And here, this girl is every bit a 10. And like I say, I was watching all the men just kind of like trying not to look at her, but you could not look. She's so freaking pretty. And so I said to my husband, I'm like, how did that happen? That guy is like at best a 4, maybe 5. She's a 10. My husband's like, I don't know. And I'm like, come on. I'm like, that girl's gorgeous. And he's like, I wasn't looking. I'm like, okay, knock it off. She's gorgeous. He's like, okay, maybe she's kind of pretty. I'm like, she's freaking gorgeous. And so I walked up to her and I said, you have to know that every single man in this entire building is trying their best not to look at you. You are so incredibly gorgeous. And she's like, what? And I'm like, do you not know that you're freaking the most beautiful girl in here? And she's like, stop, I am not. And her boyfriend steps up. He goes, okay, right, she's freaking hot. I tell her every day. She doesn't know. I don't know how I have her. She's freaking beautiful, isn't she? I said, literally. I was like, you are an absolute 10. I was like, I hope that you're enjoying every second of being a 10 and every second of having every man in here wanting you because you have it going on. You're so incredibly beautiful. And I just want to let you know that you should own it because you're a perfect 10. And her boyfriend just, I mean, it was so good because he really loved it too. He goes, thank you, thank you, thank you. I tell her this all the time. She doesn't believe me. So now that another girl has told her that it's right, now maybe she'll believe me. And she was just like blushing. She's like, no, I'm not. Look at me. I'm this. I'm like, oh my God, girl, you don't know. You're so freaking beautiful. And, my husband's, told me, he's like, I'm so proud of you, for doing that. It's not the first time, I've done that a few times. I mean, I know when to yield. I know when somebody, has beauty far greater than mine. And I always want them to, to know that and embrace that, now that my looks have faded because I'm older. I mean, I once was that girl in the room, but, looks fade. And I wish that I would have known it when I had it. No one bothered to tell me. But anyway, just seeing how good it made her feel, and the boyfriend, just acting out like he was just like good. You knocked it out of the park. You told her. You got through to her. I'm telling her. He's like, I don't know how I have her. And it was just so funny because this guy probably like goes home every night and he's like, how is this girl mine? I don't know, God, but thank you. I don't know how she is. Because it was good that he was like that. Because some men would have a woman like that feeling really bad about herself. And maybe she had somebody before who made her feel so bad about herself inside that because he was afraid of her leaving, and convinced her she wasn't gorgeous. Because I'm telling you, this girl was so beautiful. But anyway, um, I like lifting other people up. I do that. And so here the way that people have co-signed and are co-signing for the way that this woman has degraded other women, hurt animals, destroyed our YouTube community. We all are on hold until she takes her final bow and fucks the fuck off. And then goes and does her meet and greet as a big famous YouTuber that people paid for her to do. How could she do this to so many people and there's still people who go to bat for her, who want to die on that hill for her? Do you think that she'd stand up for any of you? I don't get it. I will say that, you know what, there was a point where Michelle was a beautiful woman, and I think that her looks got her out of a lot of trouble, but I'm not seeing it these days. And like I said, I don't know why she didn't take my advice on the makeup here and the eyebrow shaping. Like I say, we've really got to, okay, we're going to take that Q-tip, line it up with the honker there, right there, okay? And then we're going to take that Q-tip and we're going to go right there. And we're going to get that right there. We're going to line that up right there. Okay. So we're going to take that Q-tip and we're going to go there. We're going to go there. We're going to mark that all in. We're going to do that. And then we're just going to take that there. So we're going to grow back. We're going to grow back this. We don't need a whole freaking city block between these eyebrows here. They need to really come in. You got to line them up here. Okay. We're going to line them back up. And you know what? Maybe just start drawing them in. Just grab a Sharpie or some shit. It'd be fine at this point. But, and then no more of this under the eye. Bring the makeup only to the top. Really just do that, okay? And that's probably what you can do for right now. But I mean, when she was like degrading Julie and stuff, I thought Julie was a super pretty lady. And then she was, started putting her feet up in the air and everything. That's how the whole feet thing started. My God, people, have you guys forgotten? So anyway, about the frickin' stroke, I wanted to show you guys something. Now, let's see here. These all come up when there we are. I want to show you something on Flava's page. It's Flava's birthday. Happy birthday, Flava, even though I'm not happy with you right now. I am not subscribed to Flava. I had given Flava a chance when I first heard her, because she was talking about Suboxone that one night, and that's where I first heard her. And I prayed so hard for her when she had her stroke, and I thought that, she was a person who, was really trying to go the right way. But then, as you know, when she just went to go with Team Michelle after Michelle has said horrible things about people that are losers being on Suboxone, and I don't know that Flava knows that. And Flava actually had a stroke. So I don't know if Flava understands that Michelle lied about having strokes to get all the attention and money and bullshit that she does. So I don't know how Flava can stand with Michelle when Flava has actually suffered a stroke and is on Suboxone when Michelle says that people who take Suboxone are losers. But anyway, it is what it is. I'm honest. I, made a comment to Flava the other day, and Flava sees my things, I'm sure. So anyway, I wanted to show you what Flava had posted. She did right here. Okay, so this is what a person who's had a real stroke would have. Flava put this up because apparently Vinny G asked for it. Okay. Now, the story on that, of course, is that Michelle, when she put out that thing on Google that she was the most bullied person on YouTube, blah, 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 blah. Well, then Vinny from bottom of YouTube, I think he was with Boyd then, saw her, helped her, taught her how to strike channels and everything because he felt sorry for her because she said she was a stroke victim. That's when we didn't know that she had lied and blah, 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 blah. But still, as a former healthcare professional and as a person who has a clue, I can tell you Michelle has not had a stroke. Not once, not twice, not 3 times. Now, the way that she lives her life, she puts herself at a great risk of having a stroke. She has an issue with her circulation, and that is why she was stented. Yes, that's probably a circulatory, peripheral artery disease. So she probably has some pad issues going on. And now, if she actually had a stroke, do you think that she'd be smoking? Do you think that a doctor would prescribe Chantix to her if the biggest thing that Chantix can cause is a stroke? A person with a history of strokes would not be prescribed Chantix. When the doctor came in and she had it live and the doctor didn't mention her history of strokes, so everybody's like, oh my God, he didn't even mention your strokes, get a new doctor. That's actually because she doesn't have a history of strokes, people. That's because she would sit there and lie and lie and lie, because she would act like she was having it so that she'd get ETN back, and ETN wouldn't have the medical background and whatnot to know whether or not she did or whatnot and what she was lying about. Her lies are very, very difficult to keep up with. But anyway, until Michelle provides something like Flava did that shows something here, that shows the kind of damage that the stroke did, until Michelle can provide this, I'm going to stand firm in saying Michelle has not had a stroke. Now, Flava's stroke was pretty intensive, and she's only 38. I mean, she's got to, Flava, you've got to be careful for the rest of your freaking life, and, do what the doctors are telling you. You'll probably be on medication, I'm sure, for the rest of your life. Please be careful, because one stroke at this young age puts you at a higher risk. There are risk factors with strokes, and you should educate yourself on what those risks are for your own demographic and make sure that you avoid them. Michelle is doing every single thing that she can to put herself in the highest risk of having a stroke. So if she had a history of stroke, she certainly would not be continuing that behavior now, would she? She'd also be on significant and specific medication to make sure that she would not have another stroke. And if indeed, like she says, she's had 2 strokes, do you really think that she'd be pretending like she was going to go and get a job and be having people certify her to go back on roofs again? 3-story roofs? Nope, doesn't happen that way. And remember, all of the bullshit about the service dogs, and that's why she got this, because she's had a stroke and all this. She wanted to talk and flex like she was this big rich person that had this dog delivered, and then was, this was supposed to be this, dog to help her through her stroke and everything. We saw what happened when she fell down. The dogs ran away from her. If they were actual dogs trained to help her, if she had a stroke, the dogs would put themselves to be her stabilization to get herself back safely up and walk with her. They don't. Those dogs are not trained to help a person with a stroke. Did she get the thing where she has those as emotional support dogs so she can be the asshole who takes her dogs everywhere and acts like they're service dogs? Yes, she did. Are they real service dogs? No. Does she take them places where she's not supposed to? Yes. Those dogs are as much a victim as ETN, and those poor dogs need to have a good home. And I hope that maybe Valley Girl and her husband could take them, because they're familiar with them. And I think that Valley Girl probably treats the dogs fine, much better than Michelle. So hopefully Valley Girl can take the dogs, because Michelle's going to go be traveling as this big YouTube sensation, because she's never amounted to anything. And she wants desperately to go back to her hometown and act like she has made it somewhere. And this is her claim to fame, because she knows that everybody knows what a failure she is for all of the things that she has done, and single-handedly fucked up every great opportunity that she's ever been handed. And so she thinks that she's going to be able to go to Eustis and go in and say that she's this big big celebrity, like she's freaking Michelle Kardashian. This is what she thinks, and this is what people have played into. So, serve this up, Michelle. Serve up your MRI with contrast. And she's probably had one, because as she's probably pretty remarkable in her performances of. From the story I got, whenever somebody tries to leave her, she pulls this big medical crisis so they come back and feel bad, because then she's like, oh, you can't leave me like this. I need help. I've had a stroke. Oh. Yeah, did she convince ETN that she had a stroke? Yeah. Did she get probably a diagnosis that said that she could have had a TIA? Yeah, because they couldn't not say it. But the degree in which she was saying that she's had these strokes, no way. No way. No way. And like I say, this is what you would have, and it would give very detailed aspects in here. It's actually like I say, Flava's very lucky, very lucky. This is a very significant brain injury. We're finding out more and more about how little brain you need, which God knows people in Michelle's mod group are proving that every day. But we have a large amount of our brain matter that we don't use, so we have some to spare when we do have a stroke. Oh. So, put that up. Here.
Hey, Michelle, put the receipts up. Put your CT with contrast up.
Oh my God, she'll probably take Flava's right now. She's probably going to be sitting there cutting and gluing it. She'll be sitting there at her couch and printing this shit off and Xing it off just like the court papers. And she's going to put this, and she's going to cross this off and put Michelle. So anyway, let's hop on over here. Oh, actually, hold on. Let me see here. I wanted to do one more thing. There we go. Check this out. I was peeing, and they have advertising in restaurants and bars now about fetal alcohol syndrome. And the new statistic out is shocking to me. It says here, I wanted to find a good graphic. I like graphics and brochures. I really like brochures. I pick up brochures all the time. I have piles and piles of brochures. I think they're great. So what this is just a statistic that I saw, and that's why I was looking it up. This is shocking to me, because the statistic that the CDC is now saying is up to 1 in 20 United States school children may have fetal alcohol syndrome disorders spectrum. So, okay, how are they doing? They're going fetal alcohol spectrum disorders. So FASDS. So they're a group of diagnoses that can occur in a person who was exposed to alcohol before birth. 1 in 20 first grade students. So children entering the first grade. And that's with all of the information we have out there now about how alcohol certainly does cross over to the placenta. People back from, I'm 51, and alcoholism was rampant in my family, and one of my aunts, was a hippie, and she had 3 babies that died shortly after birth because she was a hippie and drinking, and it very, very sad. And she ended up getting sober and went on to have 3 beautiful and amazing kids. Her sobriety took. And she didn't drink anything until, they were over 18. But we forget about the damage that Michelle has done to her children and her child that passed away, that she came onto the scene talking about so much, and just said it was a straight SIDS thing. And now we know that it was much more, that that baby was born addicted and had severe respiratory problems. So he needed to have a lot more care than he had at that time. And it's very sad, because I I don't know. I don't remember what order that child was in, so I don't know how many of her kids were born addicted. I have heard all of them. And so I just, we look at her and sometimes we forget about the sadness and devastation that she's left behind. And so I just want to, give a shout out to the people who are actively cleaning up Michelle's messes every day. And that's probably been her family for every year of her life. But for the fathers that stepped up, and for her mother that stepped up to help raise her children, who more than likely had and have learning difficulties because of what she exposed them to in utero, because it's all about her. It's all about her addictions. It's all about Michelle. Michelle always wins. She didn't put the baby first. She didn't put any of her babies first. So for those kids that are out there, we know the one, is fighting because he's got that criminogenic nature that she has. But from the conversations with him, he actually has more insight than her. So he has the capacity to turn his life around when he chooses to. And I hear the other one is great, and her daughter, I hear, is very good because she's got a great father. So to the fathers that stepped up, to her mom that stepped up, to the teachers that have stepped in, to the neighbors, friends, the village that has had to come in and be parents to the children that Michelle did not properly nurture in utero, and as they were young, until her parental rights were severed that day after her little event. And no, you don't get your kids taken away from what the other kids, because when that came out of how her kids were taken away, then she was like,
No, I got them taken away because of what?
what'd she say the one kid did? Like, no, you as the mother do not get your kids all taken away because of the actions of one other child. Doesn't happen that way. Good way to not take responsibility for you losing the rights to your children. If you would think that, when she talked about that baby, when she came onto the scene and she had all of our attention, sitting there crying and crying and crying on the phone about this baby that she'd lost at SIDS, anybody would have thought, oh my God, and that woman probably just treats all of her other children like gold, and she's probably really overprotective of those kids, and those kids probably think like, oh my gosh, that mom's a helicopter mom, and she's just up our asses all the time, but she just doesn't want to lose us like she lost that, only to find out that she went on and continued to be an abusive asshole. The way that she talks to Jake is probably only a sample of the ways that she talked to her own kids, using her own daughter's name as her escort name. That's pretty disgusting, because her daughter grows up with that name. If I was her daughter, I would change my name. I would absolutely change my name after having somebody do that. That's just disgusting. So, let's see. We go back over to my community page. And we go over here. There's Tarja, the Finnish rocker I was talking about. Oh my God. And these Noosa freaking, I love Noosa yogurt. It is the best yogurt ever. It's so freaking good. I love coconut flavored. It's my favorite. It's more expensive, but it's so good. I also like Greek goddess yogurt, but you have to eat it like within the first couple of days because it does separate fast. This is the leftover chicken that I mix with cream cheese and put in the tortillas, and then the kids put them in the air fryer, and the chicken cream cheese, like chimichangas, are so freaking good. Me making a modified red sauce because I didn't have enough enchilada sauce in the pantry of hell. It turned out really good. The red sauce was awesome. So I know that there were times when I couldn't get out and go places. So I like to post when I go to, when I have the privilege of going to see live music. I like to take video when I can, so that those people like me who once could not go out, or people who just, didn't, that these people aren't touring in their area or whatever. A lot of musicians come through the Midwest. So I put them up there so that you guys can enjoy them. But check these freaking hot ass guys out of Sweden out. This guy's freaking hot as hell. The way he moved, very, very hot, hot guys. Then she's beautiful, just absolutely beautiful. Anyway, let's go over here. Go over here. And 334. I thought I made more than 334. I thought because with my uploads today, I don't think that's accurate. I think I'm at 338. I've done 34, 35 Michelle things. So I keep, like I say, I keep my Michelle at 10%. So anyway, come over here. If you guys have not read Jonathan Lee Rich's Wikipedia, you should. I think I'll narrate it. And then let's see here. Okay. So this is when the entity had that channel. And so I posted this. You guys can come over and see. I put, while I was cooking dinner for my family, I was summoned by the entity. She loves it when she thinks she can have others verify her lies because they repeat her lies. The old layman's definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result. Therefore, the irony in Michelle using the word insane to describe others calling out her lies, there's irony in it. I truly hope that it was indeed her, and I hope she got my message loud and clear. If not, hey, Michelle, fuck off. Okay, we got the truth through to Tim, ETN, Valley Girl, and her husband, and Trey. So just wait until you find out else. Well, I'm not going to tell who else I've got some people now that know what she was doing, and they had no idea, and they're spreading the word. So her little plan of trying to go real life to tell on us big, mean YouTubers has backfired because now people see that she was doing this and she got exposed. So anyway, let's see here. Does that show? Let me see. So she wrote in there. Let's see. So she had this Lola Montez, blah blah blah, and so she was like, let's see if I can show you. Well, okay. So she found this in here where I'm saying that. Okay, so it was about the Chantix, the bullshit about the Chantix, because she was trying to do another scam. I mean, she did so great with the toe scam, lying to people about needing this certain salve for her toe. She already had a crusty ass old tube of it, and people gave her $700. I mean, she's like, you people are suckers. I mean, I cannot believe that there were enough suckers born to give this woman money. But anyway, Chantix was pulled from the market. It was pulled because it really caused a lot of suicidal ideation in people who in people who didn't even have a propensity to it. I know a few people that it just really messed with them, and it caused really horrible, vibrant nightmares. And then it was causing strokes, and it was said to contain carcinogens, and that was not divulged. Essentially, cigarettes contain carcinogens, and it has to be divulged. So there are things out there that you take the risk and whatever. So there was several recalls on Chantix, and then as Chantix was one of the drugs with Pfizer, and the whole Pfizer family was in everything else, getting sued for all of their opioid pushing and everything like that. It's really fascinating how the attorneys have tried to keep what they can of the Pfizer fortune against all of these class actions. So it was pulled, And then it was put back on the market. Pulled, then put back. Pulled, put back. Because then there's class actions. And the Pfizer family was in bankruptcy court. And they got another judgment. And then they challenged that so that people wouldn't be getting their money. And then they just lost that again. So with its history, I certainly wouldn't take it. And if I had a history of strokes, I wouldn't take it. And if you were a person who honestly had strokes, with this drug now being indicated in causing strokes, no doctor would prescribe it to a person with a history of strokes. Therefore, once again, you take the deduction of reasoning out of the lies she says, and you make it a nugget of the truth. So she tries to say that she has the copays and everything, but she's got TRICARE through life, through Medicare. Now she signed up for that, and backup. I don't know. I don't know how she's scored all this freaking money. Just freaking. So, like I said here, so I put she never had a stroke. And oh, there we go. I didn't put a T there. So I put something in there. And I put she lied about both strokes. She has full SSDI, Medicare, and TRICARE. She doesn't pay for anything. She's the welfare queen. So then she goes, she finds this. So somebody must have been sending it to her, because that's usually what happens. So here she is. She summoned me. And she says here, Trey even said I had a stroke.
Trey even said I had a stroke. Are you absolutely insane? I love how you knew. More life than I do. You guys are absolutely insane. Like, seriously insane. I've already shown receipts on my stroke. And just why wouldn't a doctor RX me Chantix because I had a stroke? I'd like to know. There's so many damn YouTube doctors around here. I have been begging my psychiatrist for Chantix for 5 years, and he finally wrote my NRX for it. Again, you people. Completely insane.
So, why is she smoking if she got the Chantix? Why is she shoving that cigarette in her mouth if she got the Chantix, people? So anyway, because she summoned me, I said, because I wasn't sure, I said, you're an entity. Nobody knows if this is you, but in case it is, please let me tell you, Michelle, fuck off. And then, that's where I saw that she said,
Trey even said I had a stroke.
I said, because you lied to Trey so you could leech $600 a month off of him as a widower to your best friend. Let me see if I can see the rest of where I put it. No. I can't even remember what thread this is in. I think it's under the Chantix thing. So it's just hilarious because for her to, look at this. So she's seeing what I write and she sees this. She doesn't argue about having all of this. She doesn't argue about being a welfare queen. Her first thing,
Trey even said I had a stroke. Are you absolutely insane?
Why would Trey know her medical history? Let's review here. Remember, Trey's wife, who was in her wedding, sadly passed away. So because Michelle didn't want anybody to bother her because she was upset about her friend, so she went and told everybody that she had a great big huge gigantic stroke and was on a ventilator and airlifted and massive horrible brain damage, and signed it all by ETN's name. So poor ETN is probably just over there, doing his work, not knowing, and she's over there smoking on a ciggy on the couch, pecking into her phone or egg or a piece of toast. These lies. So then, sure, if Trey was, in all of that and trying to deal with everything, it would be in the back of his mind, oh yeah, she had a stroke. Because he doesn't know all of the lies. She had a stroke. She'd be able to say, I had a stroke on blah, 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 blah. It caused this damage and blah, 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 blah. But remember, she's already shown us why she's on SSDI. And it's because of her massive mental issues. Mental issues. The horrible, horrible mental issues she has. So the stroke left absolutely no damage. And she still smokes and smokes and smokes and drinks and drinks and drinks and does not actively exercise and does not take medication to prevent another stroke and goes and gets a medication that's known to cause strokes. Come on, people. Like Dr. Phil says, if her mouth was moving, she's lying. And remember, I'm the one who's called out so many of her lies. Remember when she was saying she was going to AA and putting up the coins so everybody was believing it, and I had to show everybody that's not a 2-week coin, that's a 24-hour coin. Remember that? Yeah, I did that. And then all of a sudden she's not saying she's going to AA. She never did go to AA. She never did stop drinking. No one was giving her a coin. No one was buying her special coins. She didn't have a sponsor. Okay, I called that out. So remember, I've got some credibility here. Okay, I do believe that I'm the first one who exposed her being on SSDI. How many other things have I exposed? Oh yeah, when I finally got the proof, when somebody showed me that she did actually have an insurance license and I had already heard that it had been revoked and whatnot. So yeah, it did get sent to me and I just had to go in and search it out for myself and see that it's been revoked. And then I get the, once I put it up, then of course I get the confirmation and people email me and everything. They're like, yeah, she didn't actually ever work in it. She did it because she wanted to sit there and stalk poor ETN because that's the career that he had to restart since she ruined his military career. Come on, people. Get with the program. Don't give addicts in active addiction money. Don't give her money. Don't give her money. Don't give people who are going and causing problems in communities money. Just keep your money, people. There's a lot of really good causes, and I'm actually a good cause too. I use, what? I am so grateful for any money that I've been given. I got my first YouTube check. Thank you so much. I could never have done this without all of you. And I did get some cash apps last week, and I am so grateful. It was one of those times where everything had hit just badly, and there was no money left to spare, and I was planning on having to overdraw the account to put gas in because that's what I had to do the week before. And so then it's like, okay, I'm paying double for the gas, and it was enough to pay for gas, and I was able to go and buy the plants that I wanted to start my garden. I had got the raised bed stuff at the end of the clearance last year, so I had the raised beds out there and everything, but I couldn't afford the plants. So I just go to the greenhouse each week and look at them and be like, well, they're taking care of my plants, and one of these days will be mine. And I had my first cucumber was able to take off. So thank you. My garden is producing things. I'll continue to show the progress of my garden. But I think I might have to go and screw the pumpkins myself because apparently, because people are killing bees and everything, maybe with Fabuloso, bada bang, because there's not enough pollination, because people are in these urban areas and having these raised beds, the bees don't necessarily get the message to go and carry the pollen from one to the other. And so things are coming out weird. There's like weird uncircumcised strawberries. Have you guys seen people with weird looking strawberries on Facebook feeds and stuff? It's because there's not enough pollination. And so people are saying that that's why pumpkins often don't grow. And because the last 2 years my pumpkins would get to the flower stage and then they wouldn't make pumpkins. I've read that, yeah, you have to actually go out there and make sure that the male and the female part of the... So I might have to, I might just step outside right now in the moonlight and go fuck my pumpkins. It says you do it with a Q-tip or an eyeshadow brush or just a paintbrush, and you have to find out the male part and the female part, and then just put a little bit of pollen on each part. And then it says to save the Q-tip or the brush because then it has the magical pollen on, so then you can go and pollinate things. Uh, you know, this is my freaking life. I have been a good person in when people freak out, and put on Facebook feeds and stuff that they have a big bee problem and who can come and kill all these bees and stuff. I'm like, stop. Let me help you find a responsible beekeeper in the area who may be able to take those bees off your hands. If they're yellow jackets, they're from hell. Do what you can, you know. Bees, we've got to do better. A lot more people really need to participate in No Mow May. That's where when you have those dandelions coming out and people want to do that first mow because those dandelions are taking over, you got to let them be. Because if we don't have pollinators and pollination, our grandchildren are not going to have food. There's less and less farms. Farms out here are being sold and, homes are being built on there, and then I put these little garden containers out there and can't get anything to pollinate. I mean, I see it as a person in the Midwest. I see it. So thank you for giving me money on my Cash App, Tabitha Jane 13, just in case you're wondering. Thank you for giving me money that I was able to use wisely and invest back, and I'll always be a good steward and honest with any money that is ever given to me to show you that it is appreciated, and that I hope that I've done my best to earn it. And you guys can always question me on it. I'd be happy to answer. So thank you for all of your support that you all give me. Let me know in the comments if you have had to go and breed your flowers too, or if it's not necessary. I don't know what point is necessary. I don't know what point I need to look at the pumpkins and be like, okay, I need to make sweet love to you with a Q-tip. Well, anyway, thanks for listening. I really appreciate it. And let's hope that this shit show is almost over. For good. For good. And then don't let it come back. All right? It's a deal?
Right? 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 Are you insane?
All right. Here we go. Everybody have a good weekend. All right? We're supposed to get some big storms. We're in a drought out here in the Midwest. So we're supposed to get as much rain as we've had in 3 months. We've only had like half an inch of rain or something in 3 months. So the grass and stuff is burnt out here. We're on water restrictions. And so we're supposed to get that much rain on Saturday alone and tornado warnings. So we're supposed to get as much as we got in 3 months in one day. So it's just been steamy, and we need a good storm, and the air quality has been just bleh. So I'm taking my Claritin, Zyrtec, and occasional Benadryl. And my eye drops. So have a good weekend, but if you have allergies, watch the air quality. Stay indoors if you need to, just like me. Just play with your cats indoors. All right? Thanks again for listening. Bye-bye.